Someone takes too long to reply. Your boss says, "Can we talk?" You notice one strange feeling in your body, and before you have any real evidence, your brain has already written the worst possible ending. Why? Not because you're naturally negative, and not because you're broken. Your brain was built to treat uncertain danger as more important than probable safety. It would rather prepare you for a disaster that never happens than risk letting a real one surprise you. And that explains why 10 minutes of silence can feel like proof that something is wrong. And when it doesn't know what belongs in that blank, it often reaches for the worst thing it can imagine. Not because you're dramatic, not because you're broken, but because deep down, your brain believes a painful certainty is safer than an uncertain possibility. Think about what your brain was built to do. It wasn't designed to make you happy all the time. It was designed to keep you alive. And for survival, false alarms are cheap. If you hear movement in the dark and assume it's dangerous, but it's only the wind, you lose a little sleep. But if you assume it's only the wind, and it isn't, the cost could be everything. So the brain learned a rule. When you don't know, prepare for danger. That rule once helped us survive the night. Now it activates when your boss says, "Can we talk?" When somebody's tone changes. When you feel something strange in your body. When a plan you cared about suddenly becomes uncertain. The threat has changed. The alarm hasn't. And this is where worry plays its cleverest trick. It makes you feel as if expecting the worst is a form of protection. And once it chooses a frightening explanation, it starts collecting evidence. You reread your message. Was that sentence too much? They seemed quieter yesterday. Maybe that full stop looked cold. The thought didn't become true because you found evidence. The evidence became visible because the thought told you what to search for. If I imagine the rejection now, maybe it will hurt less later. If I rehearse every disaster, maybe nothing can surprise me. If I stay tense, maybe I can stop something bad from happening. But worry is not always preparation. Sometimes it's pain paid in advance for a future that never arrives. And even when the worst does happen, imagining it 100 times doesn't mean you suffer less. It often means you suffer 101 times. So how do you stop? Not by telling yourself, "Everything will be fine." Your brain is too intelligent for promises you can't prove. Instead, do something more honest. The next time your mind rushes into a blank space, say, "This is a prediction, not a fact." That one sentence creates distance between what is happening and the story fear is telling about it. Then ask, what else could be true? Not, what's the best possible explanation? Just, what else could be true? Maybe they're busy. Maybe the meeting is routine. Maybe the look on their face had nothing to do with you. You don't need a positive answer. You need to remember there is more than one answer. And then ask the question your brain has been trying to avoid. If the thing I'm afraid of did happen, could I meet it then? Because your brain does not need proof that nothing bad will ever happen. It needs evidence that uncertainty is survivable, that disappointment would hurt, but you would respond, that rejection would sting, but it would not erase you, that a difficult conversation would be difficult, and you could still have it. This is the shift. You stop trying to control the future by fearing it, and start trusting the person who will meet it. You. Hours later, the reply finally arrives. "Sorry, I was in a meeting." Nothing terrible happened, but for 2 hours your body lived inside a future that never existed. So next time life gives you silence, notice what your brain tries to place inside it. You don't have to force the blank to mean something good. Just don't automatically let fear decide that it means something bad. A blank space is not bad news. Sometimes it's simply a space you haven't learned to leave empty yet. And maybe peace begins there.